Hey everyone, my name's Matt, also known as the UKAstroNut, and today this is going to be the beginning of something new that I'm going to do. So before I was doing like a weekly news thing, so every Sunday I'd put out like a news video, and I'd go through some of the stories that have been in the news in the last week. But it kind of didn't really make sense because I was talking about things that happened like last Monday, and then it's kind of hard to go back and find what these stories were, and they kind of weren't relevant anymore. Especially like I was doing a lot of things on Rosetta. And by the time that Sunday was coming around, I was reporting things that happened last Monday, but they were already outdated because Rosetta's updating a lot recently. So anyway, I'm going to stop doing the news thing, but instead what I'm going to do is replace it with like a more regular like vlog thing. So a vlog is just like a video log thing. So every few days or whenever something interesting happens, I'll just do like a mini video. So I still do the big videos where I explain, what is so-and-so, what is an exoplanet, or why is the sky blue. I still do those, but in addition I just do this sort of vlog thing. So I just go through like news stories, or tell you something about the work I do, or what it's like to be a physicist, or things like this. So it's just like a sort of a mini video on the side that gives you a different perspective on something, and maybe some kind of news story. I'm also going to start doing more videos in a kind of general science way. So before I was doing more videos on like physics and astronomy and astrophysics and stuff like this, which is really, really cool. But there's just so much of science, and I'm not as good with biology and chemistry as I am as physics, because I do physics. But I still know quite a lot about them, and science in general, and technology and engineering and maths and all these things, they all come into this really big bundle that I could do videos about all these kind of things, and some really, really interesting things. And I know enough about these kind of things that I can start doing more videos, and hopefully I can get better as well. And I can teach you more things about these different subjects and different sciences and engineering, and so on and so forth. So yeah, anyway, so you'll still see a lot of physics and astrophysics, but there'll be some other science squeezed in there as well to make things interesting. Anything that things, concepts and questions and things that are not physicsy, but they sort of branch into other areas of science and technology and so on and so forth. Anyway, so that's just saying what I'm going to be doing with the channel for the rest of, from now on for the foreseeable future at least. But anyway, so this is going to be my first sort of video log, so I'm just going to go through some of the news stories as I would just do the normal news anyway, but I'll do these more regularly, so I'll fit these throughout the week now, and I'll just do more sort of shorter videos just on single things or single news stories. But anyway, the first thing's it's just another quick Rosetta update, as usual. I mean, Rosetta is a really big thing at the moment. So Rosetta is if you haven't seen the videos before, is this satellite by the European Space Agency that's going to orbit around a comet in our solar system. And it's going to take loads of photos of it, and it's going to study it, and it's going to put a little lander on it, and this lander is going to drill in, and it's going to find hopefully what the centre of this comet is made of. This is really interesting because it's been going for years and years now, this Rosetta mission, to actually get to the comet. So we've been waiting for some time now, and it's actually now only like less than a week away from arriving at the comet. So it's really, really exciting and big time for Rosetta at the moment. And I said in a previous video that Rosetta is kind of has found a surprise in that the comet is actually found, it's just sort of like two pieces of rock that are stuck together, kind of like this. It kind of looks like a rubber duck, so that's the what it actually looks like, and what people are sort of describing it as. And actually now it's getting even closer and closer. It's even seeing even better images of this comet. And some of them are really, really incredible. I mean, the one it took the other day, you can almost start seeing like mini craters and debris and stuff on the surface, which is just phenomenal. Like, it's considering how long it's taken to get there, and we've never, I don't think we've ever really had as good views of comets, but we've probably seen as good views, but this is phenomenally good, and the level of detail in the photos is just truly astounding. It's really, really good. So definitely worth keeping an eye on this, and in less than a week's time it's going to be actually orbiting this comet, and it's going to be there. And then in November or so it's going to land this little lander drill thing onto the surface, and it's going to start drilling in and find out more about it. So keep an eye out for the rest of the Rosetta stuff. The next thing is the new NASA rover that's going to be launching in 2020 or so, which is going to be going to Mars. So it's kind of like the previous Mars landers, but this one is going to be trying to create oxygen. So they're going to send this this lander up to Mars, and the Martian atmosphere has carbon dioxide in it. which is what humans breathe out. And humans breathe in oxygen, and then we breathe out carbon dioxide. So we really need this oxygen to live. But there isn't oxygen on Mars. There isn't enough to be able to sustain life on Mars. So this lander is going to go down, and it's going to try and convert some of the CO2 into oxygen. Now, it isn't going to do this for the entire planet. There isn't going to be in a few years' time enough oxygen. Oh, this is brilliant. This is just like Earth's atmosphere. But it's going to see how it can do it, how easy it is to do it, and that will, if it's successful, it means that we can potentially put men and humans on Mars, and then they can live there because we can create oxygen enough for them to be able to survive, which is really, really interesting. And also, if we want to grow things like crops and trees and things like this, it's gonna dig into the surface. It's gonna find out what the sort of the materials and everything of the surface is like, and it's gonna find out whether there is some sort of suitability for humans living there and things like this. So it's sort of like a precursor to humans landing and potentially living on Mars, this mission. And it's going to go up in 2020, and it's really, really interesting. So this is definitely worth keeping an eye out for. But obviously you won't see it for a few more years actually doing anything much. But they're just in the sort of preparing building stage at the moment. The next thing, another physicsy thing. So they actually found out recently that the Milky Way is lighter than they thought it was. So the mass, or the weight of the Milky Way, we had a sort of number of what we thought it was in mind. But it turns out it's only about half this. And so we looked at one of the nearest galaxies, or the nearest galaxy to us, Andromeda. So you have the Milky Way and you have Andromeda, which are two galaxies, and they're actually moving towards each other and actually can smash into each other, but that's for another video anyway. But it turns out that we thought that Andromeda and Milky Way were kind of similar, but actually the Milky Way is a lot lighter than Andromeda. And this is just due mainly because it has less dark matter. So dark matter is this strange invisible material that we can't see, but we sort of see the effects of this mass being here. And the Milky Way has less of this dark matter, and so it's actually lighter than Andromeda, which is interesting. It's we got our calculations wrong, and it's a lot of effects on things like calculations of a lot of things to do with the Milky Way. It's actually lighter than we think it is. Finally, a nice sort of biology story here was the thing that was, I really like penguins, so I really picked up on this story that the scientists in Antarctica found the bones of a fossilised penguin. But this penguin isn't like your normal penguin, which is maybe, 4 or 5 foot high, maybe penguins get to that kind of height. This was 6'5". This was a 6'5" tall penguin. I mean, this is taller than most human beings, and this massive penguin used to exist like 40 million years ago. So this is crazy. I mean, you can imagine a 2-meter high penguin just walking around the Antarctic, and because it was so big, it could just dive so much deeper than the small penguins, and it could last longer underwater, so it could hunt down sort of the fish at deeper level and things like this. So this is really, really interesting. I really like penguins, so this was kind of the reason why I picked up on it. But I just thought the idea of a giant 2-meter, 6'5" penguin walking towards me was a little bit sort of crazy and interesting. Okay, thank you very much for watching. I'm going to do, as I said, these more regularly, and they're just going to explain mini news stories, or what it's like to be a researcher, or maybe if there are questions that aren't that detailed physics-wise or science-wise, or they're just sort of, I can explain them a lot quicker rather than doing a whole video on them. I'll explain them in these kind of vlog, SciLog video things that I'm doing. Okay, thank you very much for watching. Check out the rest of my channel. Don't forget, like, subscribe, leave comments, leave questions and things like this, and I'll try and answer them for you. And I'll see you guys soon.